We joke with clients that when they go to sell their company, they're selling to two people at the same time. One of them is the senior person who's making a decision at the buyer, so probably the president of the buying company. But the other person they're selling to is some junior MBA who's a few years out of school, whose job is to build a spreadsheet model of the deal. And they are by themselves or with their boss's guidance going to put numbers in a spreadsheet for some kind of financial projection. And I'm going to win if I can get that kid to put the right numbers in the spreadsheet and not put the wrong numbers in the spreadsheet. And I am never, ever, ever going to see that kid's model. But I need to know it's there. And I need to know that I've told a story to the president of the organization that I want to buy my company that's going to be compelling and capture the president's imagination. And I've told a story that's concrete enough that the kid who's building the spreadsheet model is going to put the right numbers in the projection model so that when they have a private discussion about how do we want to do the math for return on equity, more likely than not, they got to what I thought was the right answer. And I won't know for sure, but the way that I will have a pretty good sense is did they come back with the right offer? So as the second step in trying to negotiate the sale of a business from a position of strength, after figuring out some ideas of who the right buyers would be, it's to develop at least a guess at the story that the buyer is going to find compelling about why they ought to do the deal and how much they could accomplish by doing it with you. Like, think about who's in the room where it happened. But the thing that's true in mergers and acquisitions is the seller of the business is not in the room where it happens. Not like 99.5% of the time, they're not in the room where the deal decision is made. They are the person about whom a decision is being made, and there's a set of people who are the buyer, and there's a set of people who are the seller, and they're trying to negotiate. Well, the development of the bid is the buyer's business and not the seller's business. And so the seller doesn't get invited into that room for that meeting. But it matters a ton that you influenced what happens in that meeting. And so down to every last person, you need to have thought through who is in the room when it happens. And did you not alienate any of them? And it's corporate staff jobs are in the room where it happens plus sales, right? I mean, that's who's in the room. And the president's in the room, and the CFO's in the room, and the head of HR who's going to have to do the merger integration is in the room. And probably the head of sales who's going to have to implement the revenue stuff is in the room. The regional manager is not in the room. They're irrelevant. But you know who else is in the room is like some 28-year-old kid with an MBA and a financial model is in the room. I've been the kid. And people aren't telling that kid, sell, buy, sell, write this in or don't. They're telling that kid, hey, go build a model about such and such. And so the boy or girl, like, has got a bunch of influence about what happens. And if you win that sale, which is going to be only after you won the sale to the president, but if you win that sale, you can influence the terms of the deal.